Big up to everyone. What is happening for Liverpool Profit? Back again with another live stream. How are we all doing, people? Hope we are all doing well. Big up to every single one of you. Big up, big up, L, big up, all, big up. So yeah, it's a Friday. Normally, I'd be doing looking ahead to a game at the weekend, but there's no football on this weekend, unfortunately, man. And I don't even think there's any international football on this weekend, guys. I don't even think there's any international football on this weekend. Because I think everyone played midweek, so it looks like, unfortunately, there's going to be nothing to do this weekend. However, that is what we are here to do, to talk about football-related stuff in general. And I wanted to talk a bit about our ex-manager, Jurgen Klopp, who is actually back in Liverpool this weekend for the Legends game, which I will be watching, by the way. I will be watching the Legends game, if I can find the channel it's on. But yeah, big up to every single one of you. Jurgen Klopp also had some words to say regarding Mohamed Salah and Mohamed Salah's Liverpool departure, giving his thoughts and opinions on it. And again, look, my gaffer, when Jurgen speaks, I listen, because all I ever heard coming out of his mouth are pure and utter facts. So big up to him. But yeah, before all that, people, hope we're all doing well. Hope everyone is good. It's currently almost 5:30 here in the UK. Hope wherever you guys are, whether it's day, night, evening, you're all doing well. So big up every single one of you. Having said that, people, what can we really discuss? Where can we start? I don't want to get into the Klopp stuff too early, because that is the main talking point, and I don't want to do it too early into the stream. I guess we can talk a little bit about Klopp in general as a manager. Boy, do we miss that guy. Boy, are we missing that guy. We really are missing him. Look, as a football fan, right? As a football fan, I want to see. Well, look, how do I say this? With the way Liverpool Football Club is, with the way we're built, with how we're expected to represent ourselves, with how we're expected to conduct ourselves, how the players are expected to conduct themselves, how a team is expected to play on the pitch, right? I expect to be entertained watching Liverpool. That's what I want to see. I expect to see a team that's fighting. I want to see a team that presses like crazy, a team that runs like crazy. I don't care if we don't have a team full of superstars. I genuinely don't. We never used to have a team full of superstars up until this season, right? I really could care less whether the team we have on the pitch is full of superstars or it's not. If we have a team full of average players, I really couldn't care. I genuinely could not care. What I want to see on the pitch is my team giving 100% every single week. Every single time we step out onto that pitch, I want to see us pressing like crazy, running like crazy, and just being absolute dogs on the pitch in general. You know, I don't see that no more in Liverpool. I don't. And I hate to say that, because I don't want to sit here and be critical about my club. I really don't. I don't enjoy being critical. But it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is, people. We're just not enjoyable to watch no more. We're just not the same team in general. Apologies, just doing something here. I could never sit here in the Klopp era and say I find this boring to watch. I could never do it. I could never do that, people. Ever, 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 ever. Because you know what? While we had bad seasons under Jurgen Klopp, I'm not going to sit here and say we didn't have bad seasons under him. We had two very, very below average seasons in the COVID year back in late 20, early 2021. Then we had another bad year a couple of years later, back in late 2022, early 2023. We had bad times. But you know what he used to do every single time? He'd just know what to say. He'd have the right words to say to keep us on side, to keep us believing, because okay, we're in a rough period right now, and we've been in rough periods before. We're in a rough period, but he's going to fix it. The manager is going to fix it, and he's going to get us back to where we need to be. He just doesn't do that. He never, ever does that. Ever, ever, ever. I've never seen him, like I said, take accountability. I've never seen him come out and say, this is all on me. It's got nothing to do with the players. He never does it. He never. I hate people like that. Not just in football, not just as managers. I hate people like that in general, who will never admit when they're wrong. They just don't want to admit whenever they've made a mistake. They'll double down on ridiculous takes at times as well. It's just, if I'm wrong on something in life, if I've made a mistake, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to say, I'm wrong. Okay? I'm going to sit there and I'm going to say I'm wrong. I'm not going to double down on my ridiculous takes. I'll hold my hands up and say, I got it completely off and I'm wrong. It's all on me. It's all on me. When does Arne Slot ever do that? Has anyone ever seen Arne Slot come out and say, this loss is all on me? It's got nothing to do with the players. Do not blame the players. Blame it all on me. In fact, I've actually seen him throw players under the bus this season. I remember, was it after the Palace game where we lost 2-1 at the beginning of the season when all this whole rubbish started, to be fair. He threw Frimpong under the bus in the post-match interview. He threw Jeremy Frimpong under the bus. He said Frimpong lost his man or something and blah, 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 blah. We lost because of that. Do you think Jurgen Klopp would ever have done that? Do you think Jurgen Klopp would ever have done that? No, he wouldn't have. And I hate that part. Look, I'm sure Arne Slot is a lovely man. From what I've seen of him, he's a lovely, lovely, lovely man. I've got no problems with him as a human being. It's never, ever like that. Okay? It's never like that. I'm sure he's a lovely guy. I remember when the Diogo Jota tragedy happened and, you know, we were all in mourning. The city was in mourning. It was a tough, tough time. July, August. And Slot came out. And to be fair, credit to him, he was put in an incredibly, incredibly difficult situation with that. And I think he said the right words. He said the right words at the time, you know, to kind of heal the suffering a bit. But at the end of the day, we've never really moved on from that. We still are kind of dealing with it and we're just moving away from it now. And just trying to get on with it. But he was in a very tough situation back in early July, August. And I felt he dealt with that incredibly well. You know what I'm saying? I felt he dealt with that incredibly, incredibly well. But then you exclude that people and then you go into the season and the stuff he's come out with as the season's gone on, the way we've played on the pitch, it's terrible. You know, he's just not a Liverpool manager at all. Big up Andre. Big up to my brother Andre. I'm more focused on the new era now. VBD is next. I don't know, to be fair, Andre. I genuinely don't know. Brother. I think if we move to a back three, that can extend to VBD's longevity even more. Time for us to lock in and not fuck up the next big signings. 100%, I agree. Big up my brother, BR, man. What you saying, BR? Big up, brother. Big up, brother. Hope you are well. But yeah, people, he's just not a Liverpool manager, is he? Let's be honest. He doesn't connect with us fans. He doesn't connect with the city. He doesn't connect with the people. And to be fair, he'd be good for another club in the Premier League. Let's say someone who maybe Tottenham. I'll use Tottenham as a perfect example here. I think Arne Slot would actually do very, very well at Tottenham. But for what we need at Liverpool, no. Fuck off. You're not what we need. You are not what we need. I'm well, bro. I hope you're well as well. Hope you're doing well as well, brother. Big up yourself, man. Big up yourself. So what comes next, guys? What comes next? What comes next for the rest of the season? And what comes next for next season as well? Because I'll be honest, like I said, I don't expect much in the Champions League. And I'm not expecting much in the FA Cup either. Here we go. Slot must stay. As a United fan, I don't blame you for saying that, to be fair. I don't blame you for saying that. I don't think he will stay, though. I don't think he stays. I do think we make the change. But if we did keep him, I'm going to be honest. I might actually not watch next season. When I say I'm considering getting out of football next season if he's here, I mean it. I've never said that as a Liverpool fan, ever. Never, ever, ever said that in my 10, 11 years being a Liverpool supporter. I've never said it. But if he's still here next season, mark my words, I am not watching football. I'm not going to subject myself to that absolute bullshit again. I'm not. Who do you want us to sign on the right wing? See, that's a tough one, man. That's a very tough question. There's a couple options. I did do a video on that, Andre. I did do a YouTube short on it. But a couple of options that I think I like the look of so far. No one's ever going to be Mohamed Salah. No one's ever going to replace Mo. What he did for the club, the numbers he put up. We're never going to get another Mo. Okay, he's unique. So we now have to get someone on the young upcoming and hopefully make them into a superstar. So everyone talks about Elise, but that's confirmed he's going nowhere. I knew he was going nowhere anyway, but Bayern confirmed he's off nowhere. No one's going to be able to sign him. He's not for sale. So then we look at the likes of maybe Bradley Barcola, Kvaratskhelia. Again, at Paris Saint-Germain, let's be honest. Are you going to leave Paris Saint-Germain, who are in a stable position with a stable manager, winning stuff year in, year out, to come to Liverpool, who, let's be honest, we're in a transitional time now. We're probably going to have another new manager again next year, going to have a couple new players. We don't know where we're going to be. Do you want to risk that and come to Liverpool? I don't think so. So for me, Andre, there's only one option, I think, and that's Yandy and Monday. Now, do I have my doubts on Yandy and Monday? Of course I do. He's very young. He's playing in the Bundesliga right now. We know the Bundesliga to the Premier League is a very, very different style of football, very, very different environment, and it's just different in general. Will he be able to make that step up? I don't know. Remains to be seen. I just think he's the guy that the club will look at, Andre. I do. When Salah first joined, he wasn't a superstar. We made him a superstar. With Diomande, I can see the club seeing something similar there. Bring a young player in, and hopefully over the years turn him into a superstar as well, similar to what we did with Mo. So I think it will be Diomande. But again, I'm not too locked in on it. I've got my I'm cautious about it, I'll say. Let me ask you this, Andre. Let's say Federico Chiesa did stay next season and you wanted to give it a chance under a new manager. How would you feel about Chiesa stepping into Salah's shoes and being the new right winger? How would you feel about that? Do let me know, bro. They have to be able to start week in, week out. I agree, Andre. I agree. But let's say Fede does stay next season. Let's say Fede does stay. And let's say, for example, we bring in a Yandy on Monday as well. So there's two right wingers there. Are we going to use one and not use the other, or are we going to rotate more? Similar to the left wing, we've got Cody Gakpo right there at the moment. We are probably going to bring in another left winger. So you bring in another left choice winger, right? That left choice winger, let's be honest, he's not going to get rotated much. He's going to be the main vocal point on that left side, especially having seen how bad Cody Gakpo has been this season for us, right? Off the right, again, we've had Salah for years, who's just been the one who starts week in, week out. Are we going to go away from that now? And are we going to start rotating it with the new wing, with our new winger, with Chiesa and someone else? Are we going to start rotating it a bit more? Or are we going to bring in a nailed-on starter? That's what's going to be interesting to see for sure. That's what will be interesting to see. If Federico Chiesa is willing to give it a shot next season, let's say he's willing to give it a chance under a new manager, and a new manager promises to use him more and utilize him more, I want to keep Chiesa personally. I do want to keep Federico Chiesa. I think in early September, he was playing really well. He looked like a really good player. To be fair, I think naturally, the fact that he's not getting picked, the fact that he's not getting chosen, his levels have just dropped. So nowadays, when you see him come on, doesn't really do much. But again, that's more on treatment. If a manager treats you badly, guys, if someone's treating you badly at work or anything, are you going to give 100% for that person? I certainly not. If someone's, disrespecting me, taking the mick, constantly picking other people over me, etc., am I expected to sit there and give my all for that one person? I'm not going to do it. And I think with Chiesa, he tried his best. The man tried his best at the beginning of the season to get picked, to get game time. And our idiot manager, that is Klopp, just would not give him a chance. So now naturally, whenever he's picked or he's brought on, he doesn't really perform because he's like, why the fuck should I give a fuck? And to be fair, I don't blame him. I genuinely don't blame him. There's certain players in that team that can do anything. They can do anything. They can ball out in a game, and they won't get picked in the next one because the manager just doesn't particularly rate them. And that's just how it is, unfortunately. That's just how it is. Endo can do whatever he wants. Wataru Endo can play as well as he needs to play in a game. He won't get picked the game after. He won't. Gomez, another one. Gomez has only recently started playing because of injuries here and there, but he doesn't get picked no matter how good he puts in a performance. Chiesa, forget about it. He can ball out. He can score a hat-trick. He won't play. And Rio is another one. Rio particularly I feel bad for because he's a youngster. I need to give youngsters time. You need to give youngsters game time so they thrive and they improve. And he's just being restricted, in my opinion, at the moment. Elise is impossible now, so it's got to be Diomande. Please, not Gordon. Yeah, I don't want Anthony Gordon. Andre, I agree. I don't want Anthony Gordon at Liverpool. I don't think he's anywhere near good enough to play for Liverpool. I don't think he's anywhere near good enough to be a Liverpool bench player, let alone a Mohamed Salah replacement. And also, the best bit out of this, Anthony Gordon was an ex-Evertonian. The guy who represented Everton. He put on that blue shirt, played at Goodison Park for Everton Football Club. Do you want someone like that at Liverpool? Let's be honest. I certainly don't. I certainly don't want him anywhere near our football club. Along with not being good enough as well, in my opinion. So now, believe me when I say I'd rather keep Cody Gakpo over him. And I'm being serious there. I would rather keep Cody Gakpo over bringing Anthony Gordon in. I don't rate that guy at all. At all. I just don't. So again, the club have got to make this decision. They've got to make the right decision as well. Because we can't afford to fuck this up and bring in the wrong right winger. Because say we bring in the wrong choice right winger, say he flops, we're going to be in the market again for another one. And so starts the process of changing every year, bringing new players in, trying to see who fits the system and everything. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want us to have the next long-term right wing solution at the club, whoever it is. Like I said, Elise would be a dream. I would love it if it was Michael Elise, but Bayern Munich have specifically come out and said he's not for sale. And why would he be for sale? Why would Michael Elise be for sale? People, like I said, why would you leave Bayern Munich to come back to England? We all talk about how bad English football is, how bad the quality of English football is, right? So how can we also sit there and then say, if a Premier League club came, Elise would come running? No, he wouldn't. The quality of football in Germany is better. We can agree on that. The quality of football is better in Germany. I don't think anyone will argue against that. You're playing for Bayern Munich, without a shadow of a doubt, the biggest German football club in Germany, right? One of the biggest football clubs in the world. Easily one of the biggest football clubs in the world, right? Bayern Munich, being as big as they are, as successful as they are, they win trophies year in, year out. Even if they don't win the Bundesliga, which they do most of the time, they'll still win trophies year in, year out. Yo, big up my brother AK, man. Big up to my brother AK. Hope you are well, brother. Big up yourself, man. Make sure you show up to my brother AK. Yeah, bro. Long time no see. Big up yourself, bro. Big up, man. Big up, man. Another one of the Fellowship of the Realist in the building. Make sure you show up to my brother AK. Big up yourself, brother. Here's the top guys I want to replace Mo. 1, Kvaratskhelia. 2, Doué. 3, Diomande. 4, Rodgers. Morgan Rodgers. I don't know about Morgan Rodgers, if I'm being honest. But, yeah, Kvaratskhelia would be good. Doué would definitely be a good option. And Diomande, of course, as well. Those are 3 good options. But I think, again, Kvaratskhelia and Doué are unlikely. I just feel Diomande is the most likely solution here. Salah will be missed as a rival fan. Yeah, I hear it, AK. I know a lot of people are happy to see him go, but I'm glad to see that people do recognise how good he's been and how much of a legend he is in the game as well. United fans love it. They must be loving it. No more Salah hat-tricks at Old Trafford. No more him scoring against them yearly. Yeah, it's going to be tough boots to fill, whoever comes in. Very tough. It's just like when Jurgen left. When Jurgen left, we all said it's going to be tough to follow after him, and we've seen that now 2 years later. It's still hard. Although he gave us hard times. To be fair, AK, he didn't give you guys hard times as much. He did, but he mainly went out. It's mainly United he fucked up. He fucked up United the most. He gave City hard times at hard games every now and then, but United, he was onto United every other game, man. I don't remember a time other than this season where he's not scored against United. I genuinely don't. Kvaratskhelia far ahead of all of them by land. So I agree. He'd be a very, very good appointment. A very good signing, sorry. But again, look, the only way I can see people leaving Paris Saint-Germain to come Liverpool is just the law. We are a bigger club than Paris Saint-Germain. We are more successful, and we've got more clout and order than them in worldwide football. You know what I'm saying? But, you take all that out, they are probably more attractive opposition at the moment. At least in Dream World. In Dream World, yeah, but it is very, very unlikely. Well, not unlikely. It's been pretty much confirmed he's going nowhere. So, yeah, man, I think he stays at Bayern. And I think he has a good career over there as well. He could have done one thing. He could have taken Big Verge. With Verge is a weird one, okay, because I think if we do switch to a back three under the new coach, I think that will just extend Virgil's longevity. I think that just extends VVD's longevity as a centre-back if we switch to a back three. He loves scoring pens against us. Yeah, man. And Jurgen deserves my respect always. Oh, of course, man. Jurgen's back in Liverpool as well today. for the Legends game this weekend. I can't wait to see him back. Can't wait to see him fist bumping the crowd again. Just seeing that on the touchline again, it's going to be so. It's going to take me back to memory lane. It certainly is, man. I miss that guy. Really miss that guy. And I seen him wearing the club merch today, man. We was robbed. We was robbed of seeing Jurgen in the Adidas merch because, oh my God, man. It just feels so right seeing Klopp back in Liverpool wearing Liverpool merch. It just felt so right, man. And we'll talk about that a bit as well in a minute. But yeah, back to Elise, what I was saying. You're playing for, like I said, the biggest German club around, and you're winning trophies there year in, year out. Even if they don't win the Bundesliga, which they do most of the time, but even if they don't, they'll win the German Cup, whatever it's called. And so every now and then they'll also win the Champions League. I personally think they will win the season's Champions League. They are my favourites 100% for the UEFA Champions League. I think they win it. So they're going to win trophies again this year. They're probably going to win a treble, most likely. So it's mad. You've got no reason to leave. You'd be absolutely mental to leave there to come to a team that's in an unstable position at the moment. To be fair, you'd be crazy to come back to the Prem. In general, let's be honest with how it is at the moment. We need to smack PSG so they want to join us. Yes, Andre, if we slap them up over two legs, maybe they'll turn their heads then. But I do think one thing, Andre, I do think when Enrique does eventually leave Paris Saint-Germain, I think you'll see a max exodus of players too. I do think a lot of players will then leave as well, along with him. I think Kvaratskhelia goes. I think Dembele might go. Doué goes. You know, I do think there's a max exodus coming when Enrique decides to leave. And about the Rodri situation, Joe just rage bait at this point because he doesn't have training when it comes to media. I hear that, AK. If you're not media trained, you can get fucked up, man, because they can really twist your words around to make it seem like something. The Rodri situation probably is rage bait, to be fair. It's like Szoboszlai in Liverpool. People linking Szoboszlai to Real Madrid. It's rage bait. They're just trying to get a reaction out of Liverpool fans. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think there's nothing to it, to be fair, AK. I don't think, to be fair, Madrid don't even need Rodri. They don't even need him. So I don't think anything happens there. I think he stays at City. I can't lie. And again, people need to stop just trying to rage bait fan bases, man. They're doing it with Russ and Szoboszlai in Madrid. They're now trying to do it with Rodri and City in Madrid. Just shut the fuck up and leave us alone, man, innit? You think Mo goes to Saudi Arabia? I think that's nailed on, Andre. I think it's nailed on he goes to Saudi Arabia. And let's be honest, he buries Ronaldo in that league. He buries Cristiano Ronaldo in that league because of who he is, because of his name, his stature, how popular he is over there. He'd go there and he'd instantly overtake Ronaldo as the face of that league. And then that will probably send Ronaldo out crying, wanting to leave because he won't be the centre of attention. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think it's nailed on, Andre. Al Hilal, Al Nazar, any one of those Saudi Arabian clubs, I think he goes to. I think he goes to any one of them Saudi Arabian clubs. Whoever it is, I don't know. But I wish him well over there. I wish him nothing but the best. Like I said, the way he looks after himself, he can easily go till 36, 37, maybe even 40. Where he can look good on the right wing for France. I didn't watch the France-Brazil game. I need to watch the highlights of it, but I know Mbappe scored a good goal. I know Ekitike also bagged as well. But yeah, let me ask you this then, Andre. How would you feel about Ekitike playing off the left next season? How would you feel about that? Or let me know what formation you go with next season. Would you go with a 3-4-3, a 3-5-2? Would you keep a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3? Or even a 4-4-2? Let me know what you do next season, Andre, formation-wise. Because for me personally, I want to see either a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2. I think we should transition to the 3 at the back. I can see us doing a 4-3-3, still on a 4-2-3-1. I can still see that, but primarily I would like to see us become that 3 at the back team. This is what I don't understand, Andre, to be fair. I don't understand why he's leaving on a 3. You know, you expect a player of Salah's stature, a player of Salah's level, for us to at least get some money for him. Because he's still got 1 year left on his contract. He signed a 2-year extension back in May. So he signed for this season and next season. And with what's happened this season, I think we all knew he was never going to stay and see out back last year, next year. But yeah, why the fuck are we not getting money for him? Why the fuck are we not getting a fee for him? Because I look at it like this, right? While I'm upset he's going, we can also get a big fee for Mo, a big fee for him, and we can then use that to reinvest into our squad, similar to what we did with Coutinho back in 2018. It would help us out in the long term. So the fact we're not getting money for him, it doesn't sit well with me. It genuinely doesn't. Three in the back would help Frimpong a lot in his natural position. I agree, Andre. I agree, because naturally Frimpong is a right wing back. He's not naturally a right back. He is a right wing back. I know he can play off the right wing as well, but personally, do I really want to see Jeremy Frimpong playing off the right wing? Not really. I want to see us bring in a proper right winger and then see him in his natural position at wing back. You figure we can get like 50 to 60 for Gakpo and Endo, 100%, Andre. Endo is going to be an interesting one, you know. Now that you mentioned it, Andre, what happens with Endo will be interesting. Does Endo stay another season? Does Endo leave in the summer? Because you look at his age, he is getting on. And he hasn't been given a sniff this season. Last season, Slot brought him on every now and then. This season, he's had no sniff at all. He's had no sniff. Which is weird, because when he was brought in Klopp's last year, he played pretty much week in, week out. He was a vocal point in Klopp's team. I remember when he first met Klopp sat down with him and said, "You're important, we need you." And he played him every single week as our DM. And he was very, very, very pivotal to that title challenge that season. So I think Endo is very underrated. I think he has potential to be very, very good. Last season, Slot brought him on to see out games. This season, he's just completely isolated him from the squad. So what happens with Wataru Endo in the summer will also be an interesting thing to see. Bajcetic. I'm not sure where Bajcetic is nowadays, Ramchan. I don't know if we've loaned him out or if he's still at the club. I'm not too sure. I'm sure he's still around. But yeah, he could be someone we look at bringing back in. Big up, Ryan. Hope you're well, brother. Big up yourself, Ryan. Hope we go for Anderson or Wharton, man. I can't lie, Andre. Looking at DMs, I'd rather go for Edison from Atlanta. I'd rather him, if I'm being honest. But Anderson and Wharton are very good options too. I will sit here and say they're very good options. I think Wharton probably ends up going to the Manx, if I'm being honest. Anderson, I got no clue. But my eyes are on Edison from Atlanta, the Brazilian. I think he's a very good DM. And I think he could do really well at Liverpool. We've been linked to him before, but nothing concrete ever. Would you like João Gomez as a midfield option when we go down? Probably cost like 40 mil. To be fair, I think we need a bit of options midfield-wise, because I look at who we got, who's going to stay. So there's no danger of Gravenberch leaving. Szoboszlai won't leave. McAllister won't leave. So them three are not going anywhere. Those three are set. Wirtz you can class as a midfielder too. He ain't going nowhere. So those four are staying for sure next season. After that, it becomes a bit weird, because Curtis Jones was very, very close to a move to Inter Milan in January. It fell apart, luckily. But from what I've seen of Jones, it looks like he wants to move on in the summer. So he could go. Endo, getting older. Not sure what's going to happen with him. It'll be interesting monitoring what happens with him in the summer. Elliott, I don't know with Harvey Elliott either. Does a new manager take to him, bring him back into plans, or does he get sold? Who knows? And then after that, you've got the likes of Bajcetic who are still around and that. But those three, Jones, Elliott, and Endo, we don't know what's going to happen with them three. They could easily, I can see all three moving on in the summer. So then that way you would need more midfield options to cover up for depth. So I would take João Gomez. I would take him because I do think we need the midfield options and the depth. So I would Ryan 100%. But it'll be interesting seeing if Jones actually does leave and if Endo goes as well this summer, along with Elliott too. He was at Las Palmas alone, but I think he's back at Liverpool there. Bajcetic is another one who hasn't really had a look in at Liverpool, to be fair, yet. We've hyped him up to be the next big thing, but he just hasn't had a look in. He has not had a look in so far. Hopefully that changes soon, though, because I do think he's got a lot of potential in him. A lot of potential. Gomez can do a bit of everything, but as a ball winner, he's fantastic. That's perfect. Someone who wins the ball up. We need a ball winner. We lack a ball winner at the moment, I feel. So that would be perfect for Liverpool. Could you imagine next season, we go into next season with our midfield options? Wirtz, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gomez. Let's add a DM in there. Let's say we bring in Edison, for example. Let's say we keep hold of Jones and then we let Elliott go. We'd have 7 good midfield options there. I'd be happy with that. I would be very happy with that. And then I wouldn't mind letting Harvey Elliott go, because I don't really see Harvey Elliott working out at Liverpool. I genuinely don't. I love the kid. I think he's got a lot of potential, but I feel like it's a step too big for him, becoming a starter, a nailed on starter for Liverpool. And I might sound harsh there, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Even at Villa, I feel bad for him because he hasn't gotten a look in at Aston Villa by Unai Emery. So I don't think he stays there. There's got to be a club in the Premier League that will take Harvey Elliott because the talent he has, he'd be very good for a club like a Crystal Palace, for example, or a club like a Brighton, or even a club like a Newcastle. You know what I'm saying? He'd be very good for clubs like this. West Ham, if they stay in the league, I think he'd do well there. So there are clubs that should be definitely eyeing up Harvey Elliott because he's a talent. In my opinion, he's just not good enough for Liverpool. You know what I'm saying? And when I say not good enough, I think as a squad option for Liverpool, he's very good. But to be a starter, can he make that push to become a starter? I don't think he ever can. I genuinely don't think he can. But I don't agree with Sloth's treatment of him, how he dealt with it in the summer. And I'm not happy with how he's been treated at Aston Villa either. I want Harvey Elliott at Wolves in the summer, but I know our tight arse owners wouldn't have paid the money. Probably not, Ryan. Probably not. But even at Wolves, if he had gone to Wolves, maybe he'd have helped you out in your relegation battle a bit. Maybe you wouldn't have been in such a bad position. I meant last summer, not this one. We'll be in the Championship. Yeah. I don't think Elliott would make the jump to the Championship, though. I do think he's a good player. And I do think he's still more than good enough to be playing Premier League football. So, yeah, Brighton should definitely be all over him. He'd do well there. And plus, they're a team that play good football, like to have the ball. I think he'd do well in a team like that. Even Palace, he'd do well in a team like Crystal Palace. If West Ham stay up, he'd make a very good addition to Brighton. Not Brighton, West Ham. Newcastle, he'd do well there in my opinion. Sunderland, if they keep their players together, he'd do well there. So there should be options for him. There should be teams lining up to come for him because he's very, very good. Yo, big up yourself, Bus Baptiste, bro. Big up, man. Big up, bro. Big up. Appreciate you being in, brother. Always nice to see someone new. Oh yeah, definitely not. He should. Oh yeah, easily. He's still more than good enough to be playing Premier League football, in my opinion. More than good enough. Brighton, Bournemouth, Palace, West Ham, Leeds, anyone like that, I think he'd do well. 100%. If Leeds stay up again, someone who a club that should be looking at him. You know what I'm saying? Bournemouth as well. Ryan completely forgot about Bournemouth. If Bournemouth keep it Raiola, another club that should be looking at him. So he should have options. In my opinion, there should be clubs lining up to sign that kid because he has got talent. I just don't think he's ever going to be able to make the jump to Liverpool to be a first team starter for us. You know what I'm saying. But I could be wrong. Who knows? Maybe a new manager comes in and wants to give Elliott a chance. Who knows? Right? But for me, I'd be selling him. As for Endo, would I sell Endo or keep him? I can't lie, lads. I feel with Watoro Endo, it might just be time to sell. I'll be honest. He's done 3 seasons with us. The year before last season, and now this season. I think it might be time to move him on. You look at Endo's age, he's not really getting any younger. He's getting older. While I love Watoro Endo, the Scouse Japanese warrior, I love the guy. I think he deserves more game time, in my opinion. I don't see him ever being given a look in, even under a new manager. I think all he'll ever be used as nowadays is that squad rotation player. Someone you bring on when you want to see a game out. Maybe someone you play as a last resort because someone's injured. Or someone you play in the cup games, in the lower tier games. I think, which is why I was very surprised when Klopp brought Endo in and brought him straight into the first team, and trusted him. And he did very well that year, to be fair, like I said, was very important to our title challenge. I don't ever see that happening again. I think if a new manager comes in, Endo gets used as a bench player. Like I said, someone who plays in the lower tier cup games, plays if an injury happens, or plays if you want to see your game out. You know what I'm saying? So I think maybe we should look to move Endo on. But also, if he's going to stay for one more season, I wouldn't have an issue with him staying. I wouldn't. If he stays one more year, I definitely think he goes in the summer of 2027 for sure. I wouldn't mind keeping him around, but I do think we should sell. As for Curtis Jones, in my opinion, we got to keep him. We'd be crazy to let Curtis go. Curtis is a player who in my opinion. You might not think the most of him technical wise. You might not think he's the most flashiest player on the eye, but he's a local lad. He's a local lad. So for me, you need at least one Scouser in the team. With Trent having gone to I say Trent, the Rat having gone to Real Madrid. We've only got one now in Curtis Jones. So I think we need to keep hold of Jones. We'd be mental to let him go. Like I said, not the most flashy player on the eye. However, one thing you can't deny with Jones, and one thing I've noticed particularly this season, the guy will run through a brick wall. He will run through a brick wall for his teammates. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen a game this season where Jones hasn't given 100%, where he doesn't get stuck into tackles, where he doesn't leave it all out on the pitch. He does that. And for me, it's criminal that he doesn't start games. It is criminal that Arne Slot still persists with Gravenberch and McAllister as a double pivot instead of going for Gravenberch and Jones. Let's be honest. McAllister shouldn't be playing. He shouldn't be playing. This season, he has had a very underwhelming campaign for me. A very, very underwhelming campaign. He shouldn't be starting week in, week out. The fact that he is makes no sense to me. It should be Curtis Jones and Gravenberch playing in the double pivot, in my opinion, until McAllister earns his way back into the team. But again, this is what I mean about favouritism and agendas against certain players. You know what I'm saying? Picking your favourite players and ignoring players that are actually playing well. Every single player that has shown something this season has had the work rate, has given their all on the pitch, had the fight, gets overlooked by the manager. Chiesa, Jones, Endo, Rio, Gomez, they all get overlooked. And I don't like it, man. I don't like it. Jones is a good player, man. I'm not saying he's brilliant or anything. I don't think he is. But I think he's a good player. You know what I'm saying? And I think, in my opinion, like I said, this season, he should be starting games. There's no reason why he should not be starting games next to Gravenberch. To be fair, Gravenberch is in the same boat as Maka, to be fair. Like I said, Maka's underwhelmed this season. I feel Gravenberch has also had a very underwhelming campaign. You know what I mean? He has not been as good as he was last season. But the issue with Gravenberch is there's no one you can bring in. There's no other DM you can bring in to take him out of the team. So he has to play week in, week out, in my opinion. Which is why it's even more important that, in my opinion, we go and get a DM next summer. This summer coming, sorry. Don't know what's happened to McAllister. He looks like a completely different player this season. Fuck knows, Ryan, what's happened to me. He's proper fell off a cliff, man. He has proper fell off a cliff this season. Look, he's not the only issue. He's not the only one who's underperformed. A lot of players this season have underperformed, especially our senior ones. They've been poor. A lot of them have been poor. So, with McAllister, I feel like he isn't being helped by Slot. He isn't being helped by Slot with the manager. I feel like a lot of them aren't being helped by Slot. But I also feel they're also underperforming too. They've also not been good enough. And I think with McAllister, while yes, we can say the manager doesn't help him, his level just hasn't been there. It has not been there this season. And we can't argue against that. It's not. And he shouldn't be starting games. He shouldn't be. Yeah, that's true. But I think McAllister's been so offish and real. He's been very off, Ryan. He should be holding bench, if we're being honest. He should be sat on the bench. He should be sat on the bench. He should be holding bench. I don't even think Gravenberch is a number 6, more than 8. Facts, bro. In my opinion, Gravenberch has always been a number 8. That's what we brought him in to be, a number 8. Szoboszlai is a number 8. McAllister is a number 8. And Gravenberch is also... No, McAllister is also a number 8, sorry. These are number 8s. Now, granted, last season we didn't get a 6 in, and Slot decided to risk it and put Gravenberch in that 6, and he done well. But it's not his natural fucking position, for crying out loud. It's not his natural position. He did well there last year. This year, I feel like he's been exposed as not being a 6, unfortunately. So that's why, in my opinion, but he's done well in that position, especially last year. He has. I agree, Ryan. He did very well in that position last year. But I feel this year, he's kind of been exposed as not being a 6. Even more incentive to go and get a 6, right? You know what I'm saying? Even more incentive to go and get a 6. Yeah. Oh, man. It's going to be a big summer, man. A very interesting summer. That's all I can say. You know what I'm saying? You bring in a 6, and then you have 3 8s who have very decent options. Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, where you can interchange. You can play the 6. You can play Maka and Gravenberch. You can play Gravenberch and Maka. You can play Maka and Szoboszlai. You can interchange it around. You know what I'm saying? So bringing in a 6 just gives us more options, in my opinion. Gives us more options in midfield. Maybe make a couple of additions too, and I think we're good to go. But yeah, people, let's move on from that then, talking about Liverpool. Let's talk a bit more about Jurgen Klopp then. So Jurgen Klopp is back in Liverpool. The legend himself is back in Liverpool for a Legends game. I think he's managing the game. So I can't wait for this. I cannot wait for this. And I'm definitely going to be watching this. If I can find the channel that it's on, I'm going to be tuning into this game because I cannot wait. Just seeing Jurgen Klopp back at Liverpool in the club merch just felt so right today when I saw it on social media. Just felt so right seeing him back wearing the Liverpool merch. And to see him on the touchline again, fist bump in the crowd, being active. I can't wait. I've missed this so much for the last 2 years, and I can't wait to see it again tomorrow for the Legends game. So I'm looking forward to this. And Jurgen Klopp was interviewed by a couple of people, seeing as he's back in Liverpool for the weekend. And he had this to say about Mohamed Salah's departure. If I bring it up in a minute, before I do that, a couple of comments to get through. Stankovic will be a great option. His father is Dejan Stankovic, who played for Inter. He's really good. Could be a tough step from Liverpool to Bruges. That's the thing, Ryan. You know, it's a big step from the Belgium league to the Premier League, isn't it? And coming from Bruges to Liverpool, like you said, it's a big step. So it's a risk if we go for someone like that. But I hear it. I do hear it. Big up to Klopp. Big up to the legend, man. My gaffer, man. My gaffer. When he speaks, I listen. So Klopp was back in Liverpool. And the quotes I hear from what he said, this is from Sky Sports News, when he was asked in regards to Mohamed Salah's departure. Not surprised he was asked about this, to be fair. I expected it. But this is what he said. And again, when he speaks, I just listen, man. I just listen because all Jurgen ever speaks is facts. So Jurgen Klopp has said that Mohamed Salah's legacy will be unmatched forever, praising the forward as one of the greatest players of all time, speaking to the Anfield Wrap. And I believe here we go. He was part of the best front three in the world for a long football. He was part of the best front three in world football for a long time. I agree. Mane, Bobby, and Mo were at that time period, in my opinion, the best front three in the Premier League. In my opinion, they're right up there. When you talk about the best front three in Premier League history, they are incredibly, incredibly good, and in my opinion, incredibly underrated as well. They're definitely in those conversations. This is what he said as well on Mohamed Salah. If you can see this, I couldn't imagine that something like this was possible. The numbers he produced, the performances he showed, some of them will be unmatched forever, I'm pretty sure. I'm already in his position. I look back already and I can't believe really how something like this was possible. Klopp's obviously talking to him about the memories he had as Liverpool manager, the goals he scored, the consistency he showed, the desire, the eagerness for scoring grew bigger and bigger and bigger. Maybe we talk in 10 years and someone else has them, Ekatike, whoever. But I think it will be really difficult. And so one of the all-time greats definitely will leave the club in the summer, and let's see where he goes next. Man, when he speaks, I just listen to Klopp, man. When Jurgen speaks, he just listens. I just listen, sorry. I just fucking listen because all I ever hear is facts. I do miss Klopp in the PR, to be fair. I do miss Klopp in the Premier League, to be fair. Him and Pep competing for titles was great, proper title fights. Ryan, I missed him too, man. I missed him too. Pep even said, to be fair, that his greatest ever rival was Klopp. So, again, when people disrespect my manager, it pisses me the fuck off. But to be fair, I don't really listen to what rivals say about our players because at the end of the day, it is what it is. And in regards to Mohamed Salah, I said it yesterday. He's not for everyone. A lot of people grew up watching a different era of football. I understand that. I can't change people's opinions on how they look at football, how they view football. Everyone views football in a different way. You know what I'm saying? For me, Mohamed Salah is someone who I grew up watching and idolizing as a kid. He's not for everyone, like I said. People grew up watching the likes of Henri Bergkamp. I get what they look for in footballers is different to what I look for, maybe. But let's not let one bad season take away from the fact of how good Mo's been for the last 7-8 years. I feel like a lot of people are using this season as a way of just writing him off. He still had 8 years of pure consistency at Liverpool. And he's had to fight. You know, he's had doubters. He's had haters from the beginning. You know, after his first year, was called a one-season wonder. And every single year he's put up numbers and he's been consistent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's my era. Henry, Bergkamp, ballers, absolute legends in the game, those two are. But can't take away from what Salah's done in the Premier League. Yes, exactly, Ryan. Exactly, man. I feel like he's a very, very disrespected player, in my opinion. I feel he's incredibly disrespected. And to be fair, why do I need to hear what rivals say about Mo? You know what I'm saying? When Jurgen Klopp, one of the greatest Premier League managers ever, when Jurgen Klopp, one of the best managers ever, is talking about Salah in this regard. When Pep Guardiola's even come out and said it, that's all I need to hear, man. That's all I need to hear. Mo will go down as a Premier League legend, in my opinion. And he certainly goes down as a Liverpool legend. And yeah, Jurgen just spitting facts on that, saying what he has to say. I'm glad he said that. And again, that puts the narrative, the fact that the whole narrative that people said that Klopp and Salah don't like each other, they beef each other. But that puts that to bed very, very quickly. You know what I'm saying? It's like when people say Mane and Salah never got along. That's not true. People try and make out like they hated each other. They had a competitive footballing rivalry on the pitch. They pushed each other to be the best. So this narrative that Salah and Mane hate each other, no, they didn't. They were just very competitive footballers who pushed each other to be better than the other. They never hated each other. They never ever hated each other. So again, that's more BS spouted by rival fans. You know what I'm saying? Oh man. Jurgen Klopp also said this in regards to Mohamed Salah today. I once was a doubter years ago. How long was I? Look, to be fair, Ryan, he's not for everyone. Even now, after all he's done, he's still got haters. He's still got to fight his case. But look, that's just the way it is, man. I can't really say nothing. To me, I don't do the whole comparing footballers. When people compare Salah to Ronaldo, when people compare him to other players, I don't do that. For me, that's BS. I just like enjoying my football player play. I just enjoy watching my player. I don't like comparing him to other players like a lot of other fans will do. If that's your thing, cool. For me, I just enjoy watching my player. I just enjoy watching him play for Liverpool. I don't like comparing. I really don't. That's why I never do that shit. So yeah. He also said this, to be fair. This was interesting. I never knew about this. This is when Mo first joined Liverpool and he sat down with Klopp to have a discussion. So Klopp's story about Salah being worried he wouldn't get into the Liverpool team when he first joined. When we signed him, he asked, where will I play? We had Sadio Mane and Coutinho at the time who were still here. He was really worried about if he would be able to play. Can you imagine Mo Salah today compared to that young man? Obviously, look, that was a very different Mo. That was when he first joined. He was part of the best front three in world football for a long time, and he was the one who always had the highest numbers. That says something. It is not easy to be slightly above other two guys. Sadio was in the mix of both. Bobby was the genius. Mo was the one with the goals always in his mind. You cannot train that. And there we go, man. That legendary front three. You know what? We were robbed of Coutinho, man. If we'd gotten Coutinho behind, let's say we had Bobby in the 9, Mo off the right, Sadio off the left, and then we had Coutinho in the 10. Boy, oh boy, would we have cooked, man. Boy, oh boy, would we have cooked. But yeah, I agree. Bobby was the playmaker. He was the genius. Mane was a mix of both, and then Salah was the goal scorer. This front three, man, oh my God. It feels like only yesterday these lot were tearing defences up for fun. It feels like only yesterday, man. What a front three. We went from these three to the likes of Gakpo. You know what I'm saying? What a downgrade. You know what I'm saying? What a downgrade. But yeah, man. My personal favourite out of these three will always be Bobby. Bobby Firmino will always be my favourite out of these three. I used to love Coutinho. Liverpool. These two I really loved, Bobby and Coutinho. But out of these three, Bobby was always my favourite one. Salah, of course, is Salah. He scored the goals. Mane, I feel, kind of gets overlooked in these conversations. I feel a lot of the spotlight will always go into Salah, but I feel Mane and Bobby were also very, very underlooked. Sorry, they contributed just as much as Mo did. I've got no problem with being wrong. I never thought Salah would become the player he was at Liverpool after seeing him at Basel and Chelsea, but he got better and better. So big respect to him. Yeah, Ryan, look. I said it yes. This is a man who was rejected at Chelsea, wasn't given a sniff at Chelsea, wasn't. Went to Basel, then went to Roma, then came to Liverpool. He came from being a Chelsea reject to becoming one of the best Premier League players of all time and one of Liverpool's legends. The journey he's had and the mentality as well. Not a lot doesn't get spoken about on how elite Mohamed Salah's mentality is. He could have easily crumbled after Mourinho told him he wasn't going to make it at Chelsea. Could have easily crumbled, but no, he had the mindset to become one of the best. And now he leaves as one of the best as well. Oh, Bobby was unreal, Ryan. Bobby was unreal, man. Oh, man. Bobby Dazzler, as we used to call him, Bobby Dazzler. The guy was unreal. You know what I'm saying? Considering how bad Brazilians are nowadays, I can comfortably say that Bobby is one of the last Brazilians that actually had the flair. All three were quality in their own way. Exactly. You know what I mean? They all had something different, but they all contributed to the team just as much as the other. You know what I'm saying? Naturally, Mo got all the credit for the goals, but Bobby, the playmaker, Mane, a mix of both. I mean, oh, God. Yogo Bonito, Bobby. Yeah, man. Big it, man. Yogo Bonito, Bobby. Wijnaldum was also incredibly underrated, Ryan. He was incredibly underrated, man. You know, he was a player that, again, a lot of our midfielders at that time got overlooked because they didn't do what people see in midfielders. I think Hendo was very underlooked. Wijnaldum was also very underlooked. You know what I'm saying? These were players that Milner as well, I felt very underlooked. Not players who are technical, but they're workaholic engines in midfield. They leave their all on the pitch in midfield. And that's what we needed. That's what we relied on back then. So, yeah, a lot of our players in the Klopp era, in my opinion, were very, very underrated. Very underrated. Yeah, man, we are definitely approaching the end of an era. We are definitely approaching. But I'm just so happy that Klopp's back in Liverpool. And I know he's not coming back as our manager, but just to see him back around feels right. And, of course, he attended a special fundraising event for Liverpool as well last night, which, again, pure class to the guy, man. Pure class to Jurgen, attending the fundraising event for charity. There he is back in Liverpool. How I miss this guy, man. How I miss this guy. Oh, man, I wish he was still our manager. I wish we still had him around. You know, I can accept Klopp not being our manager no more, but not hearing him speak week in, week out in press conferences just doesn't sit well with me at all. Doesn't sit well with me, man. I miss this guy. I miss him so much. Big him up, don't I? Always bring Jurgen up. Do you think he'll manage Liverpool again? I don't think he'll manage Liverpool again, unfortunately. I think with Jurgen, what will happen is I think he'll manage Germany in a couple of years and then I think he retires. A lot of people think he'll go much. I don't see it, Ryan. I could name about 10 reasons why he won't be a Madrid manager. One, Klopp likes a family club. Madrid aren't a family club. Two, Klopp doesn't like a team full of superstars. Madrid are a team full of superstars. Three, Klopp wants hard-working players. Madrid are hard-working players. Four, the way Klopp plays football, pressing, heavy metal football, pressing, crazy. Madrid players don't press. You know what I'm saying? Five, I'm going on here a bit. He's going to want full power over players being brought in. He won't have that. It just won't happen for numerous reasons, Ryan. There's numerous reasons why he won't be a Madrid manager. It's just not a good fit. You know what I'm saying? And he pretty much came out and debunked it anyway, that he wasn't going to go there. And he debunked the Atletico Madrid BS that was going around as well. I don't think he ever comes back to club management personally. I don't think he ever comes back to club management. I think he won't, Ryan. I sit here very confidently in saying that he's not going to be a Real Madrid manager. I'm very confident in that. I think he does, Ryan. I think he continues at Salzburg as the sporting director for a bit longer. And then I think he manages Germany. And then I think after that, he'll retire. That's what I think he'll do. Klopp can end his career back at Mainz, potentially, where it all began for him, potentially. But the Madrid stuff is just BS, man. It's just, again, people trying to create a story out of it. They really are trying to push the Klopp Madrid thing. They really tried to push that hard because they've even gone as far as to saying that he's not happy at Salzburg he's not happy at Red Bull in his sporting director role and he wants to leave. He came out and pretty much said he's happy there. He's not doing nothing's wrong. So the media are really trying to push it, but it's not going to happen. He's not going to be a Madrid manager. I think Madrid will go for a Mourinho maybe again. I think they go for an Inzaghi, someone like that. But yeah, not a Klopp, man. Not a Klopp. And also, Klopp never dealt with players with egos of the Madrid level players. Mohamed Salah has an ego, but he's not like that. Virgil van Dijk has an ego, but he's not like that. At Madrid, the egos are crazy, man. So I don't think that's something that will appeal to him either. I genuinely don't. I followed Klopp before he was Dortmund coach. I followed him since he started management. But same here. You know, at Dortmund, I always knew about Klopp when he was a Dortmund coach. To be fair, the way he plays football for me is just how everyone should play football. All out on the pitch, giving it their all. He's a special coach, man. He's a special person as well. You know, I can't speak highly enough of Jurgen. I genuinely can't speak highly enough of him. You know, this is a man who came into Liverpool, who was struggling, and just flipped us on our head and turned us into a team that were back up there again. You know what I'm saying? Can't speak highly enough of Jurgen, man. What you said makes sense. Madrid is completely different. It's not going to happen, Ryan. It's just not going to happen, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think, again, Madrid, like I said, Mourinho would do well there again. Inzaghi even. I've even seen links of them to, like, Allegri, Pochettino, which is mad. But yeah, he's not a Madrid-type manager. He's not. And I'm glad he came out and debunked it as well, straight up. French football mag shows always showed him during late Sunday round up. French football magazine always showed him during late Sunday round up each weekend. Okay, interesting. Big up Adam. Big up Adam, bro. Appreciate you being in. Big up yourself, brother. Big up Adam, mate. Other than West Brom, they're the club I hate the most. Fair enough, man. I don't think... To be fair, I don't get how people like Madrid, man. I fucking can't stand them. I can't stand them. Barcelona is my second favourite team. For me, to be fair, it's for me Barcelona over Real Madrid any day of the week. I don't get how people love Madrid, man. I personally can't stand that lot. I can't fucking stand them. If I had to pick, I would definitely pick Barcelona over them, 100%. Although I'm not particularly a fan of either, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And here we go about Mohamed Salah playing till 40. Jurgen Klopp also says the same thing. This is reported too. Jurgen Klopp spoke to Jurgen Klopp earlier and he believes Mohamed Salah could play until he's 40. I would not be surprised if he plays for another 6-7 years. He knows this was the perfect club for him and he was the perfect player for us. Look, Mohamed Salah looks after himself. He looks after himself incredibly well. You know, we know he treats his body like a temple, etc. Without sounding weird. He can definitely, if he maintains his level, if he maintains his fitness, go until late 30s, early 40s. 100%. 100% he can do it. So I agree with Jurgen here. And I literally said the same thing on stream earlier today as well. You know what I'm saying? Got to support someone decent when you support Wolves, eh? Yeah, man. I hear it. To be fair, Ryan, if I wasn't a Liverpool fan, and look, this is if I wasn't a Liverpool fan. So please don't bite my head off, people. But if I wasn't a Liverpool fan, I'd probably have been a Bayern Munich fan. I can't lie. I probably would have ended up being a Bayern Munich fan because I've always kind of had a soft spot for Bayern. But I've been supporting Barcelona since the early 2000s because of R9, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho's time there. All ballers, man. Ryan, all ballers, man. All absolute ballers. You know, they don't make players like that no more. Fabregas stunning Serie A of a season. Come on, 9. Current 4th. I don't want Fabregas at Liverpool, Hampton. He's not for me, man. I don't want no ex-Arsenal and Chelsea player as our manager. I think Fabregas probably ends up becoming... I can see him at Chelsea in a couple of years, maybe. Maybe Arsenal as well. I don't know. But with him, with the connection he has to those two clubs, he's most likely to go back there as a manager, not to us. I don't want that guy. But he's doing an incredible job over there. And I'm not going to discredit him. He's doing an incredibly good job. This is the last quote in regards to Mohamed Salah from Dave O'Cott people. Now, we thought Jurgen's emotional goodbye. We thought Jurgen's goodbye was emotional. And it was. This one's going to be even more emotional, man. Klopp and Mohamed Salah leaving Liverpool. I hope we can have a successful rest of the season. Fingers crossed, man. We texted last night, but I really hope he enjoys the rest of the season. I know Mo can only enjoy if you win football matches and he scores. I really hope that on the last match day, you all will have a smile on your face, be happy and thankful that one of the most incredible careers that you will ever be a part of. When he came from, what he went through and what he gave us, incredible. Agree, man. It would be a very emotional final game against Brentford, to say the least. when you work with him, the bigger view is just ridiculous, unmatched numbers. We may sit here in 10 years, maybe Ekatike. I've read that one. But Jurgen added, it was a joy, a challenge, hard work from both sides to work with him, an incredible outcome. I couldn't imagine something like this was possible. The numbers he produced, the performances, some of them will be unmatched, I'm sure. I already look back. Yeah, he said all this, and there's the picture of when this is when we won our first major as well with Jurgen and Mo, and that was the Champions League back in 2018. So the respect is there, the mutual respect is there, man, between those two. Big up, man. Big up to Jurgen. When he speaks, I listen, and he spoke nothing but facts today. If Barcelona doesn't win the Champions League this season, I want Bayern to win it, as Harry Kane needs the respect he deserves, Mo. I hear it, Ryan. I hear it. I do think Kane does get a bit of. To be fair, I don't know with Harry Kane. I think a lot of people will say because he stayed at Tottenham for so long, it hinders him. He definitely should have left Tottenham early. I'll say that. Harry Kane definitely should have left Tottenham Hotspur a lot sooner than he did. I will say that for sure. 100%. 100%. Oh, man. Big up to everyone in the chat, though, man. Big up to every single one of you that's locked in with me. Yeah, people. I'm definitely going to be watching that Legends game tomorrow. I don't usually watch Legend games, because I don't really have interest in it much. But with Jurgen back in town and with Jurgen being the manager, I've made an exception. I've made an exception for this one. So I will definitely be tuning into that Legends game, people. So will I do a watch long for it? Maybe I'll see. Man. I shall see. All depends if I can find a channel it's on. It should be on the official Liverpool channel, to be fair. If I can find it, brilliant, happy days. If not, I'll just watch it in my own comfort. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Yeah. Salah, simply the best winger of Premier League era. When Isaac is back, I still back Liverpool winning 25% chance Champions League this season if they get to PSG. Look, I won't rule us out. I just think it's unlikely. Ramchan. But never say never. We are Liverpool at the end of the day. As for Mohamed Salah being one of the best in Premier League history, I think he's one of the best. I don't know if I personally wouldn't say he's the best as a Liverpool fan. He's one of the best for sure, but I wouldn't have him as the best personally. I do think there's a couple that are better than him, but he's definitely in the conversation for me. People don't think Kane is world class because he's not done it in final, but as a footballer, people can't deny how good Harry Kane is. He can play as a 6, 8, 10, 9 to a high level. 100%, bro. 100%, Ryan. I hear you on that. Top quality footballer for me. Just needs trophies now to get the respect. Yeah, he needs to get some trophies under his belt. 100%. 100%. 110%, guys. I feel like there's a lot of players that get disrespected in the modern era. I think because people grew up watching a certain era, players nowadays get disrespect. But look, I think everyone's unique in their own way. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's unique in their own way. Players that people would say aren't great nowadays, I think they are unique in their own way. I can't lie. Maybe it's an unpopular opinion. It is what it is, but yeah. Salah as a scoring winger is the best, I think, and only in the Premier League era. Cannot see better. Fair enough, Ramchan. Fair enough. I definitely hear your point, and I won't discredit you. I won't if people want to say Salah's the best, by all means, I'm not going to say it. I agree, Ryan. He's definitely in the conversation, but for me, he's not number one. I do think there's a couple that were better than him. I have to admit. He's in the conversation, 100% Salah. He's not number one for me, but I'm not going to say people are wrong if I think Salah's number one. Yeah, same here, Ryan. For me, he's not number one as well. But if people say he is, who am I to argue, man? Who am I to say no to them? You know what I'm saying? Everyone has different opinions. Some people like players that are more technical on the eye and provide joy to them, entertainment-wise. Other people like players who are a bit more like a Haaland, maybe like a Salah as well, who just bag. Either way, they're all unique in their own right, man, in my opinion. They're all unique in their own way. I don't have a preference, you know what I'm saying? If I have a player who's brilliant on the eye, who's flashy, happy days. If I have a player who just bags me goals, happy days. I'm not picky about it. I'm really not picky about it, man. Either way, I don't care. I don't, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't. But yeah, big up to everyone in the chat, man. It's been a great chat with all of you guys again. I will be back tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow, I'm actually thinking of doing a Q&A stream. I'm thinking of doing a Q&A stream. So, if you want to get in the chat tomorrow, ask me some questions, anything football related in general, do hop in, people. So, I'm going to do that tomorrow. It's like the Hazard versus Salah debate. I prefer watching Hazard, but yeah, exactly, Ryan. I'm not going to sit here and say Mohamed Salah is a better all-round player than Eden Hazard. He's not. He's not. But what did Hazard do with his talent? Fuck all. What did Salah do with his career? It speaks for itself, doesn't it? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree with you on this, Ryan, 100%. But yeah, people, I'm going to head off. I'll speak to all of you guys soon. Cheers to every single one of you who's been in there. Do a roll call before I head off. Big up to Ryan. Big up to Ramchurn. Big up to Ramchurn. Who else was in here earlier? Big up to Buzz Baptiste. Great to see you in, man. See someone new in. Always nice. Big up to Andre. Big up yourself, Andre. Big up to my brother AK. Make sure you show up to my brother AK. Another one of the Fellowship of the Realist. Big up to BR as well, man. Big up yourself, BR, man. Appreciate you being in, brother. Someone I know. Big up yourself, BR. And yeah, big up to you all. I'll speak to you all soon. Big up, Ryan. Appreciate you being in, man. Big up, man. I'll speak to you all soon. Chat in a bit. Laters. Peace.